language, creatives need to be localized, you need local payment methods, you need local customer support. So basically we did the study around like the research in the market. So first it was analyzing the competitors on the market and also analyzing the bigger e-commerce players in the market. And that's basically the approach that we have taken like over and over again, like when we open up a new market.
Here we are, folks, and we are doing a long one here. This is probably the longest one we've done. I did one with Pakistan, so maybe that's a little farther, but Yuri and I met in Geek Out, and we just had this really, really awesome connection, and I found out he was a crusher. He's only 29, and he's running one of the bigger agencies in Europe, which is fantastic. So first off, Yuri, welcome to the show, and give me your last name, because I tried to pronounce it, and you said I muddled it too much that I wasn't allowed to do it.
It's okay, man. Thank you very much for having me. It's Jure. Super hard to pronounce in English, but you did the first name really well.
Here we go. And so as always, I'm in the Austin, Texas office for Triple Whale. Where does this podcast find you today?
It's from Ljubljana, Slovenia, Ljubljana.
Yes.
For those of you who are listening from the States, this is the hometown of Luka Doncic, the NBA player.
He's a Mavericks guy, right? I think it's Dallas, or who Luka played for?
Dallas,
right?
Dallas Mavericks.
Right up the road. And another connection is Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, went to my alma mater. He went for his master's to Indiana University, where I got my economics degree from. So look at that, just connections all over.
You also have an economics degree,
yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's just jump in. How did you get into ecom? Is there a big like ecom presence in Slovenia?
In ecom.
Or like how did you start? How did you cut your teeth?
It wasn't
there?
Actually.
Yeah, give us the story.
Yeah, so I actually started a little bit less than 8 years ago. So it was directly coming from the University of Economics. So basically one of the subject that we studied there was marketing, and I was really triggered into this like digital marketing. And back then it was about, this is the first time that you can actually track everything, you can target the people. And for me, like a young Slovenian dude, was like, oh yeah, that's my future. So it's really awesome. So I actually applied for an internship with one digital marketing agency, and I think it was one of the first performance digital marketing agencies here in Slovenia. And basically the first few days were just about like picking the phone, answering the emails, so doing this secretary work, I would say. And then actually I got the chance to jump into the Facebook ads. For me, it was like a new world to open up. Before that, I didn't know that there were ads. I thought that this was like some scammy photos on the right hand of my feed. So I didn't want to click them. So yeah, basically I actually got a short intro, like 1 hour about how to run Facebook ads. Then I got some traction already, like in the first day, and it was really amazing because in the first day I actually sold something via internet. And for me, it was like the first time, look, I'm here in the little office in Ljubljana selling stuff all around the Slovenia. People are loving the products. Back then, I also did my creatives in the Painter. So I did some really shitty creatives back then. I just found them like a couple of months ago on my computer. They're really bad, man, with these red frames across just to have a clickbait to get the click. So it was like the first few months were just advertising in Slovenia, using Facebook ads, doing also some email marketing. I actually need to put myself in one storyteller of woman bag brand.
Yep.
So I was actually one girl that was traveling around Slovenia and just documented the journey and just discussing about what's her favorite woman bag that she wears during that weekend. And then like a couple of months in, I actually started also advertising. So one client actually went beyond Slovenian borders and they opened up Italy.
Yep.
And for me, this was the eye-opening event because it was like in 1 week, we were selling more than in Slovenia. So it's like, okay, what is going on? So in 1 week, we actually found it like really super traction. It was a big market. We localized everything. So I said, okay, here's opportunity. So then after 8 months into the agency, I actually decided that I want to start on my own and try to actually build the agency that would help Slovenian businesses to sell in other markets. And
cool.
Basically the entry point was e-commerce, because the e-commerce businesses were just wanting to increase their sales in Slovenia and they want to move to the other markets. So this was like, in short, this was the first steps into marketing.
How cool. That is amazing. And so what did you do? So Italy was kind of, so the big epiphany outside of the e-commerce, but was that markets matter, and like getting into the right market where you can make as much money in Italy in a week or a month as you did in the year in Slovenia, kind of thing. How did you do with the localization? How, like, because there's definitely, it's only Italian pretty much, right? In Italy.
Yeah, so basically it was language. Yeah, language, creatives need to be localized. You need local payment methods, you need local customer support. So basically we did the study around like the research in the market. So first it was analyzing the competitors on the market and also analyzing the bigger e-commerce players in the market. And that's basically the approach that we have taken like over and over again, like when we open up a new market. So basically it was about like what the local people expect, because in Europe, like especially the central and the eastern part of Europe, the majority of the people actually want to buy from the local players. So you need to play as a local player in each market. So basically that's when I realized like this power of localization and going local. I call it like going global with localized approach. So yeah, that's how it actually started.
How cool, man. That's brilliant. That is really incredible. So what are the biggest markets that you found? Obviously the UK, but just kind of going west of Slovenia, you have Italy, you have, who else did you kind of learn to penetrate? I mean, Germany, I'm sure, is a decent market.
Yeah, so
France, maybe.
Yeah, Germany is huge. Yeah, Germany, France, Italy. So these are like the top three usually that require localization. But we also seen like a lot of great traction in the eastern part of Europe. So like, for example, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, also Hungary. So some of the market that you wouldn't like tackle at the first sight when you are just entering the market, but we see like a lot of traction with it. So to give you a little bit of background, so right now we have like, for one partner that we work with, we do like 7 figures in Czech Republic on the monthly basis.
Whoa.
So yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And there's like 10 million people there. So it's really nice if you can actually like enter the market, become a strong player there, localize as much as possible and build up the presence there.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And so you got out of uni, you did the agency stuff. Is there anything else that, like, was there books you read, frameworks, any other kind of tools that you used to gain all this mastery? Because you're one of the best marketers I know. And it's incredible. Like, in terms of international marketers, you might be the best international marketer right now. I don't know anybody doing the localization or having the success that you have in terms of market expansion. How did you gain all this mastery?
Mm-hmm. So I think it was just about like learning by doing. So on one end, it was like analyzing what you guys are doing in the States regarding like the techniques. So how to actually do media buying, how to deal with copywriting, how to actually understand like the behavior psychology about around like the customers. And on the second end was just like jumping in on the research and analyzing like what the customers are doing. And luckily, or I don't know, earned maybe, it was like in the early stages of my career, I actually was working with many different projects, And with some of them, we actually grew with localization. So basically our approach to growth was adding new products on one end on the existing market. On the second hand, it was like opening the new market. And the requirement for the new market was, if we want to really be a stronger player on the market, we need to localize. So it was basically just talking with the local people, studying what is actually, what is urgent in Germany, what is urgent in Italy, what is urgent in Poland, getting also the feedback from the customers, not only for the customers directly, but also from the customer support, what they're dealing with, what are the expectations from the customer. So I would say like it was just like learning by doing. I wouldn't say that I would call myself the best in it. Definitely not. I think I'm on the right path of like becoming a master and an expert of it, just trying to get better like day by day with it. But yeah, it was basically, I think for me, one great experience that I had was also that I was the CMO in one e-com company that grew to mid 8 figures in 4 years. And I was able to be like in touch with the IT department, with the guys that did logistic, the team that did like finance, the team that did the customer support. So I was also super closely with the CEO. So I was connected to this also. I gained this knowledge, not only from the agency side, but basically also then joining one company, being internal team, building up the marketing department to 30 team members. So I was in contact like day by day how to do it. And for us, it was then you just observe like what is happening with the growth. So how do you grow? So for us, like I said, it was adding new product, getting better with the offer, getting better across different channels, and also like getting better with the localization, because it all matters. It all matters from the website, from the ads, from the post-purchase experience, everything matters.
That's so impressive, man. That's incredible. So what advice would you give to people that are trying to go down your path in terms of like, I don't know if we have a big presence in Slovenia, but if there's people in the Eastern European bloc or something, what advice, or even in America, what advice would you give kind of the aspiring marketers?
Yeah, I would say like think outside your borders. So on one end, if you are from US, or if you are actually like, let's say in Czech Republic, also first think about how you're going to grow in the existing market to get the product market fit, to understand your customers, to understand how to get creatives, to test different channels, and then also think how to actually expand to other markets. So my advice is usually that if you come from one like super big market, try to tackle like an additional big market, because like the market that has like 30 million plus in Europe is totally different than the market that has like 5 million people in it. So first, if you come from a, let's say, smaller country that is like above 10 million, try to actually open a country that is near to you, that have like similar population, similar purchasing power, to understand, okay, how it is to sell to an additional market, so you can actually get used to how to deal with translations, how to deal with creators, how to run ads, if the ads that work in the existing market also work on the additional market. And then the next step that I usually recommend people to do is to try to test like, okay, how it is between like super big market versus a super small market. Because with some brands is about, especially the brands that come from US, usually they tackle like Germany, they tackle Italy, they tackle France, because there are more bigger market, more advanced, more competitive advertising space. The CPMs are higher compared to the other markets, but the consumer behavior might be very similar. So basically try to test there, and even before starting, talk to experts from that market. It would be like the e-com marketing department, or an agency owner that is coming like from that area, in order to give you like some feedbacks about like what is necessary for the market before entering. Because if I could step back in my career and would do something different, that would be it. Because I tried to figure out everything myself, and it cost me time, and it cost me like a marketing budget. And if I would know like about some payment methods before, I would scale even higher with that. So that would be my advice.
I love that. It also is great advice for traveling, where always find a local. They always know way better stuff to go see, all the fun things. And so beautiful, man. I love that advice. Okay, let's wrap up the segment, the main segment. One last question. What's the nicest thing someone's ever done for you?
Wow. Well, okay, I need to
It's a
think
big
about this
question.
one. Yeah, it's a big question. Um, hmm, what's the nicest thing that someone ever did for me? I think it is when actually my wife right now actually found a dog. That so I'm really connected to. So before in my past, so we had like one dog for more than 12 years, and then actually for
Yeah.
more than 1 year I didn't have a dog. So I would say like the sweetest thing might sound a little bit cliche, but I'm really connected to my dog. So she actually found it via Facebook. And she was like, in the evening, she was showing me, oh, look at this one. He looks really nice. And then the next morning, we actually sat in the car and go pick him up because he was actually abandoned from his family. And we actually took him in. So I think this was one of the, maybe not the nicest thing, but really warm in my heart when I remember this one.
Oh, I love that. What's your dog's name?
Chappy. Hard to pronounce again.
You're killing me. You're killing me. That's beautiful. Well, because your wife's name's easy. It's Simona, yes? I can pronounce that one correctly, but you're giving me all the hard ones. Like happy and that's beautiful though, man. That's fantastic. Okay, let's jump into the value add segment. This is why the people bought the ticket. Let's get a little bit nerdy. What are the hardest parts and what are the hardest parts and what are the best parts of running WeScale, your agency?
Okay, the best part, I would start with the best parts.
I love that.
I think it's about having the freedom, actually. So the freedom to make the decision, to also like choose the people that I work with. For me, it's like, this is one of the biggest inspiration for me. It's like what we do together as a team, how we grow together, and just to see like the progress we are making, not only on the client side, but also as a team. Because we are super young in the market, so we are 2 years in the market, and it's great to see like people grow inside that, also how clients are developing. So for our biggest like project that we work with the biggest client, he actually started alone, and right now they're doing like 40 million euros per year. So in 2 years. So you can imagine that they grew a lot, not only on the revenue and the profit side, but obviously also on the team side. Just imagine how many jobs we created with that. And because we have like this, I think it's also about the freedom to choose not only the team members, also the project that we work with. For me, it's super important to be around the people that inspire me or I believe in. I know that there are always ups and downs in this kind of collaborations or relationship, however you want to call it. But I think like this would be the upsides of it. The downside might be not only connected to agency, but might be also my characteristic is that I am always chasing like for something greater, man. So I'm always like in a hunt on, okay, what's the next thing? How can we get better? Although we are doing like really well, we're really great. It's about, okay, we are just getting started. So like this constantly improving mindset, this constantly also changing environment, because if you would ask me what we would focus on in Q1, so 1 year, so in Q1 2022, what we will do, I would give you a totally different answer about what I would say right now. So it's about like just constantly changing. You need to be, it's a fast paced. So you need to be always like on the field, just battling, keeping fight. And also I think the downside is might be that because you are moving so fast that you forget to celebrate like the wins. So you might not stop and just say, okay, we did really well, but you're just chasing the next thing.
I love that, man. That's a beautiful answer. And it's so, I have a little bit of that in me as well, where sometimes you need to stop and I almost think of it like a journey, and you're driving on this journey, and every now and then, like, so we have mile markers, but you guys would have kilometer markers. But every now and then, you got to stop and say, "Hey, you know what? This is great, man. We need to have a celebration." And yeah, I don't like to stay there too long, but I do think you're absolutely right. There's something to be said about you need to have times to celebrate. Where what's the point if you're not just celebrating? If you're always on to the next one, there should be a
Yeah,
nice celebration. But
I,
I love that
mm,
answer.
I think it's also
Beautiful.
like in the agency, you usually are working for the results. So basically, you're going day by day, week by week, month by month. So it's sometimes it's hard because basically every new month you start like from zero. So it's about like,
Yeah.
okay, to also move from this short-term vision to like midterm, and because at the end of the day you're creating assets in the company, not only on the cash flow side, also on the people side, on the knowledge side. So basically to understand, okay, we are doing this not only to hit the targets with the client, but we're also building some internal assets that will help us like produce new things in the future. So I think this is also one thing that is hard for me sometimes to remember, but I try to just put in like a reminder for myself, like in Asana or in Google Calendar, to say, okay, what are we building? So not only say, okay, are results good or bad, and just feel good or bad about yourself, but also to think about, okay, what you are doing as a company, because with the agency you are serving others, but you're still a company.
I love that, man. That's so perfectly put. What do you look for in a perfect client? So if you had your ideal client, what do they look like?
There is no perfect client, man.
Fair play, fair play. Amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I think it's always like weaknesses and strengths. It's pluses and minuses, like in everyone. So
yeah,
it's
trade-offs.
about what we, yeah. So what we are actually trying to connect with the dots is usually like, okay, do we have like the product that have a product market fit? Do they have some traction on the market? It could be like 50K revenue, 100K revenue monthly. So they already have, this is when we usually step in. We also did some collaboration and they went well when we actually started from the scratch. But usually we try to
Hmm.
get in when there is already some traction in the market, because this means that founder or the team already understand like, okay, what's the product, how we sell it, understand the customer, so we can jump in and just include our expertise also in the mix. Also how a founder is also connected, how he is connected to business, how willing is he collaborate with us, founder or basically the project manager, CMO, whoever is
Yep.
working with us, and basically how we think the product is scalable. And on one end is about, because throughout my career, I must admit, to be honest with you, so I sold some product that weren't like super high quality. And basically, when I started with Scale, I decided that I want to work only with the project that sell like the product that I would use, or I would give someone as a gift and not feel bad
Yeah,
about myself. So this is like the must
I love
have
that.
before like starting the conversation. And then basically it's about like, okay, how can we scale this? How much can we scale this? Are there also some proven projects in the existing market or from the other markets that have done it well? So this is like usually the criteria that we look at. But yeah, I think there's no perfect client for it. I don't think also we are the perfect agency. We are also have some minuses. So I think it's just about like, can we work together? Can we create something amazing?
Oh man, that's so eloquently put. Yeah. So when I used to run my own shop or my agency, I used to have three heuristics. It was economics, it was attitude, and it was systems. And so if you didn't have two out of the three, I wouldn't work with you, because if you didn't have the economics, it didn't matter, because you're just going to be. You're, it doesn't matter how good of a media buyer I am. I'm just not going to do anything for you. If you had a horrible attitude, I didn't really want to work with you. And then if you didn't have any systems, I knew that it was just going to be we call it here in the States a fire alarm Fridays, where every day was just this chaotic kind of like, oh my gosh, this is on fire. And so if you didn't have two out of three, but you put it even better than I did. I love that. That's so well put.
No, I love that one. I love this definition. Might borrow something to actually put in our mix.
There we go. There we go. People have people. And it does, there is something to being said about making your money honorably, right? Like when I was younger as well, I, marketed some products that probably weren't, the top products out there, and it just feels off. Like you just feel wrong, and then you see the comments and you see the customer service stuff and you see the returns, and it just, I don't know. You do what you need to do when you need to do it, but being able to elevate yourself into actually selling value for value products and being proud of what you can market is definitely something that is very aspirational. I love that. I'm the exact same way. Tell me about one challenge that you dealt with at your agency and how'd you overcome it?
Challenge. Yeah, we had many challenges, so I need to think about from, what right? Actually. Yeah, easy to pick from. So I think it was basically, it's about our positioning. We actually changed it a lot, so many times. Because like it's connected also to the perfect client that we were discussing about. We had like this, we had a vision of this perfect client. So they need to have this. So we listed down like 15 different criteria about, what the perfect client will have in order to work with us. And then we started to be like super picky. And what happened in the end of the day was that we said no to everyone. So we had like 20 calls and we say, but they don't have like this 15 out of 15 because we were in love like of our definition of this perfect client. So and then we actually sat down with our COO and had discussion, if we could work from anyone from like in our region, who is actually a fit for this perfect client, and we didn't came up with one brand. So then we say, we need to scratch that. We need to lower down the standards about like, it doesn't have to be 100%, might be like 60% of it, and it's good enough. Let's start working together, see how things go, because I really believe like in this kind of collaboration, you see how one person or one team is actually performing in like 2-3 months working together. So you have like some wins, you also have some challenges, some drops, you have also some projects not being made, you need to wait, they also need to wait, and then you actually see how basically the collaboration is going together. So I think this was like one challenge that we had. It was last year because we got like towards COVID, we got through a really fast start, we were scaling super fast. So we say, if we are onboarding someone, they need to be perfect for us. And we realized that,
That's wonderful. That's so well put. I love that. Yeah. Life is about trade-offs, and understanding what your trade-offs are and the ones you want to make is amazing. I love that. What do you think some of the biggest mistakes people make when running Facebook ads are?
On Facebook ads. So in 2022.
Or just in general. What do you like if somebody's starting their Facebook ads? Like, what are the biggest mistakes that you normally see? Like, for example, like you guys are taking over an ad account, you know what I mean? And you go into that ad account, you're like, oh man, that is not what I would do. Or is there anything there that that comes to mind?
I think you're going to love the first part of my answer, but I think the main start with the core about like the tracking. So do you have the tracking in place? Yeah. Do you have the conversion API, the pixel in place? Do you have also some tracking tools that you can actually rely on? So in order to know the data. So the second part that I also see is that the people really don't understand their numbers. So they don't understand like what are the targets, don't know, like this is the profitability that I'm aiming for. They're always looking, in Slovenia especially, like, or the people, they say, but this guy told me they have like 3.5 ROAS, so that's our target as well. But what about if you would calculate your numbers? Because might be that you need higher return on investment or you need lower, and you can scale even further. So I think it's about like knowing your numbers and also make like a decision. Are you going to aim for profitability or you are going after the masses? Are you building like the percentage of the profitability? This is the important, or you're actually building the volume of the orders and building up the dollar signs or euros inside the profitability. So I think it's like these decisions. Based on that. So if we go a little bit further, it's about like the naming conventions. Might be advanced, but I think it's great to actually implement from the start to actually understand, okay, how a certain stage of the funnel is performing, how a certain creative is performing, what inside the creative is performing. So that you actually have a proper naming structure in place to also agree on the funnel. I know that with the iOS changes, we lost like a huge part of the retargeting audiences, but don't forget like on the engagement audience from Facebook, from Instagram, video view audiences. So to try to leverage as much as possible. And last but not least, I think like some of the mistakes that people make is also about like just being too technical around the numbers, looking at the ads manager and just trying to optimize, okay, what is like the best CTR? Because at the end of the day, what is going to so the creative is your targeting. I know that we we heard this term like 10,000 times in the last 4 months, but it really is. So to understand, okay, how can I create better creatives? And on the second hand is, how do I also create like a better experience on the website, on the landing page, on the checkout? So it's about like the game between like the copy, creative, landing page, the checkout. So I think it's about people staying just inside the ads manager and they don't like think broader to that. And if I could add one bonus section is trying to just hack Facebook ads and believe that you will grow the brand with Facebook only. So you need more channels than that.
That was absolutely incredible answer. We're absolutely going to have to take this clip and this will be the showcase clip of it. I mean, that's exactly it for me anyways. Do people understand, are they going for profitability or growth? Do people understand how their ads are tracking? Naming conventions is something that not only helps you out in the interim, but also it makes you analyze the data so much easier. People being caught up in Facebook just way too much, trying to turn these little knobs and dials, and like that era is kind of over. You know what I mean? Like just a simple account structure is really going to be the best way forward. And then, man, I loved all those answers. That is chef's kiss. That was just perfect, spot on, man. I love it. Okay. One last question before the rapid fire. What do you see the biggest opportunity in e-com is, or what do you think the biggest opportunity in e-commerce is in the next few years?
Localization, man. That's why I'm doing it.
I love it.
No, but basically I think it's about if we talk about the e-commerce or in marketing, I think it's about like on one end, we have like these emerging platforms, advertising like TikTok. TikTok is growing super fast. And how I see like the performance is going in US, I just know it's also coming to Europe. So I think it's about like learning also the other platforms, but also not just because to diversify, but I think I got this question like a couple of days ago. Okay, what's the perfect percentage budget split between them? I don't care about like the percentage. It's about like how much you can actually invest profitably. So it doesn't mean you need to actually cut down the spending on Facebook in order to run TikTok. If Facebook can be profitable, run it. If TikTok can be profitable, run it. If you can figure out YouTube, run it. But I think like for the future number, one thing that I believe is happening and also will happen is this like a localized approach where there's like big businesses that are coming from the developed market are also wanted to expand in other markets, but not only with English only website targeting worldwide and just trusting the algorithm to find the right customers. I think it's about like identifying the market and then to go with localized approach, building up the presence. Because if you look at what happened with TV advertising or with retail, that's how like the biggest player were doing. And I also believe like in digital, in e-commerce, this will be like the go-to. And the second part, trend or opportunity is we will need to figure out like what will happen with the privacy and attribution in the upcoming months. So I'm counting on you guys at Triple Whale to do the magic. So we will keep all the industry will keep our job and keep growing, man.
I love that. Yeah, I think localization is something that you're spot on. I think there's a ton of runway there, and obviously you're living proof of it. Where it's a really interesting thought there, and I know people that have done it, but they do it badly, and then they say it doesn't work. And so it's like obviously you're going to do it bad, and then it doesn't work. But I think that's really interesting, super interesting.
If maybe I can also add.
Yeah, jump in. Yeah.
Can I? One more thing. I think also one thing that will happen is also like the percentage wise between like the media buying spent and also the creative investment will also like change. Because what we see also with the more traditional channels is like when the TV advertising started, you invested like 5% of the budget in creative and 95% in the media buying side. And then when actually the competition got higher and higher, you need to invest more in the production. So I think also in digital world, this will also be, I think also creators, influencers, they always have a room for them, but I think like how company actually diversify their spendings will be more equally split. Not only, I wouldn't say that it will be 50-50, but it might be like 15% or 20% to creatives, 80% to the media buying spend. But I also think like this will be a trend in the upcoming months or years.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I think that's spot on. Localization and the how money is spent, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? And I like how you use the kind of leading lagging indicators, where you kind of see what's happening here, and you know that wave will then hit your markets, and then if you can get ahead of that, you're just going to be even more well positioned for you and your clients. Amazing. I love it. I love all of it. All right, rapid fire time. You ready?
Yeah, let's go. Can't wait. My favorite part.
Okay.
Man.
All right. Yes. Okay. I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try it. Ljubljana. Overrated, underrated?
Yeah. Underrated, man.
Okay. Owning an agency. Overrated or underrated?
Maybe overrated.
Okay. I like it. Meditation. Overrated, underrated?
Oh, that's a hard one. But I would also say underrated. Let's say underrated, man.
Oh, I love it. I do a bit of meditation myself, so I like it. I know you're a big fan of the Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant, overrated or underrated?
Underrated, but not in the basketball world, but outside of it.
I like that a lot. He had a lot of wisdom. It was he went too early for sure. So you speak English, German, and Slovenian. Speaking multiple languages, overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Oh, you're going all underrated on me. I love it. Crypto, overrated or underrated?
Oh, fuck, man. I will say overrated. I know that I'm going to hear about it from my friends, but I would say overrated.
I love it. Slovenian cuisine, overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Oh, really? What's traditional Slovenian cuisine? What kind of food do you guys have?
Do you want to repeat after myself? So it's my favorite dish is actually krvavica.
Oh my gosh, I'm done. I can never say these things. It's like Icelandic to me. It's just so hard for the syllables. I eat the syllables. UGC, overrated or underrated?
Oh, underrated. Still.
Ooh, okay. TikTok, overrated or underrated?
It's getting harder, man. But I would say still underrated.
Still underrated. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You just said this, but let's say it again. Your favorite meal and why?
So in total, so outside of Slovenian, it's actually pretty.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
it can
pretty
be any
simple
cuisine.
guy. Yeah. So it's chicken and rice, man. I'm a super simple guy, man.
Really? Like
Yeah.
Indian style or like just regular? Or okay,
Irregular, yeah.
incredible. Oh, I love it. Your favorite place travel to and why?
Praise travel to, okay? So I would say, I actually really like Dublin. I know that might
Yeah,
be like,
Ireland.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, Dublin in Ireland. So we just went like before the new year. We went there with my wife. We spent there like 5 days, and it was really great around like this atmosphere, people being super friendly, also really nice nature outside. So I think that would be my great pick if I would count out like the seaside and everything.
Oh, beautiful. Dublin. I love that. Fantastic. Favorite way to spend your time?
Sports, definitely. So it doesn't only help me unwind, but it also helped me connect with other people. So I think sports, definitely.
Watching or playing, or what do you mean? Like football, or what do you like to play?
So workout in the gym, play some basketball, do some street workout,
Oh,
hiking.
basketball.
So
Yeah.
basically combination of everything.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Okay, last question, and you made it through. You can have dinner with three people, dead or alive, fictional or non-fictional. You're at a table. You're sitting at the head of the table. There's three people. Who do you invite?
Okay. Kobe Bryant, Tim Grover,
Obviously.
and Ben Francis
Beautiful.
from Gymshark.
Wow, these are fantastic picks. You listened to the podcast. That was very quick. You knew this was coming, didn't you? That was
Yeah.
fantastic answers. Yeah, step ahead of the game. You're the man. I thank you so much for coming on. Tell the people how they can connect. How can they work with WeScale? This time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much. So first, thank you for a great conversation. Thank you, the audience, for listening to us. If you want to learn more about myself or the company, you can check me on the LinkedIn. It's easier to copy paste the name and the surname in the LinkedIn or on Facebook to search for me. Other than that, my company is WeScale. So with WeScale, we are an e-commerce boutique scaling company that helps businesses to sell e-commerce products in Europe. We do it with localization and full stack approach. And that's basically where we stand. So reach out to me if you want to share some ideas, if you want to learn more about localization, about digital marketing, or anything else about basketball. We can talk about everything, anything that you want. So let's stay in touch. And it was great to actually spend this time with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. You're just such a gem. What's the URL for your website?
WeScale.agency.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So go there if you want to deal with the best localization out there, the top talent, and have Yuri run all of your ads. Folks, that's it. That's 33 in the books. We went from Austin to Slovenia. Let's go. The beauty of the internet. If you do want to get involved with Triple Whale, it's trytriplewhale.com. If you'd like to sign up, we have a fantastic newsletter that goes out every Tuesday, Thursday called Whale Mail. And that's it. Thank you so much, my friend. You're the best. I really appreciate it. And he has a Geek Out hoodie on. If you guys do want to go to one of the best DTC conferences, shout out Nick Shackelford. check out Geek Out. It's fantastic. Geekoutevents.io, I believe. Look at that. Free plugs for Shaq.
Yeah.
Free plugs for Shaq. But anyways, thanks so much, everybody. You're amazing. I will get your name. I'm gonna get on it, and I will figure out how to say this, and I'll figure out how to say Ljubljana. And I want to go. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, you
It
did
looks
good.
absolutely
You did
stunning.
good on that
Beautiful.
one, man.
Beautiful city. I did better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So soon I'll get your name. But I did pronounce your names right. Thank you, Simona. I'm glad you had a great time in Dublin. And that's it for us, folks. Thanks so much. Thank you for all the time, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.